is your reaction?
Oh, it is.
Yes. It makes you feel
It does.
really unsettled and you can't swallow.
My stomach is
yes,
literally sort of
I felt
pounding now.
exactly the same. Ros is joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. We both sat and watched it and we were texting each other in between, weren't we?
Yeah.
And saying, oh, my goodness. I've never seen anything like it before. It's so unsettling and twisty, turny, and you don't know what's real and what's not. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So can you sum it up for me? Can you give us a summary?
Well, the trailer is a good taste.
Okay.
Two parents in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., get a call from their teenage daughter saying that she's hit someone with her car. It's a parent's nightmare and their instinct is to rush to the scene and get there before anyone else does. On the way, while they're on the phone to their daughter, revelations come out that are going to threaten to tear this family apart. And once the parents are in the car, we, the audience, never leave their space. So we are on that kind of stomach-churning journey with them to their child, who is 50 minutes away, and all we can hear of the scene at the other end is what we hear through the phone.
I mean, for me, I've never seen anything like it. So when you read the script, what made you go... Because there's no special effects, there's no glamorous locations. How did you know it was going to be so good?
I think it's a page-turner. The writer has just tapped into every parent's fear.
Yes.
And the feeling, it's a giddy feeling of what it feels like to be out of control and to want to try and make it better. So they're trying to get to their daughter. They want to help her make her situation better, but things come out, you know, has she been drinking? You know, that's obviously going to go very badly for her if she has. You know, is the victim alive or dead? Mum is a paramedic. Mum can help over the phone, but where are the real paramedics? Why aren't the emergency services turning up? All these... It's one sort of sickening revelation after another. And it's very real.
One of the things that's so compelling, though, and I think you've described it brilliantly, Rosamund, because you're in their space, it feels so claustrophobic because we are stuck in the car with them and we don't know what's happening. Are we even going to get there? And as Kat was saying, there's no special effects. It is literally you, the brilliant Matthew Rhys, and your daughter on the phone and just sitting in the car.
Yes, and because we have such a brilliant actress, Megan McDonnell, playing our daughter, who was there live for us in the studio, but in a separate room. We called it the trauma booth, where we heard her through the phone in the car. It became incredibly real, and the sound effects, everything you hear of somebody trying to resuscitate a body, of somebody fearing that she's not alone where she thinks she's alone. I mean, the place we're trying to get to is a road called Hallow Road, which is the title of the film. It definitely has resonances of Halloween. There's definitely some witchy stuff going on in those woods. Why is she even in the woods? She was driving back to university somewhere. Why is she even off the main road? You know, all these questions. Layers. Yeah, and it turns out the parents' marriage isn't as solid as it might be. They have very different approaches to the crisis. You know, and it's also a story about how far we'll go as parents to protect our child. You know, do we want to make it... How do we make something like that better? And it's interesting that Mother, as a paramedic, knows that you can't actually take the pain of something like that away from a child. To live with the responsibility of having committed of having been involved in an accident is something you have to bear. To have somebody make it magically go away isn't actually going to save you. No. You have to live, because the guilt will tear you apart.
I mean, my boys are your character's daughter's age at this time, and they've both just started driving. Right. And there's always that fear. I mean, have you sort of gone through that idea in your head? You're also a little bit younger. I think yours a bit younger than that. What you would be like as a parent in that sort of situation, because you don't really know until you're confronted with it. I do think about it, because my children are hellraisers. They're very, you know, get them behind the wheel of a go-kart, on a jet ski, on anything fast on skis. They love speed. Fearless. And, of course, that does give you pause for thought when you think about driving. I mean, I remember, you know, my own mother's fear when my first car I bought was a vintage car. Oh, wow. You know, which I'd been craving this car all my life, and I bought it. I was thrilled. And, of course, my mother was terrified that it would be unreliable. What was it? Can I ask?
It's a Citroen DS. It's from 1972.
Oh, is it one of those
beautiful ones?
They're like a shark. It's a thing of beauty. I mean, it was a feat of engineering. It's a rare beast. But
not necessarily the safest, most secure and the most sort of stable.
It's pretty stable. It can drive on 3 wheels, which I told her with no uncertain terms. It's got such perfect suspension that you can blow a tyre and still cruise on to your
Keep going.
Yeah. So are you looking forward to getting back to the theatre?
Oh, I really am. Yes, I'm doing a play at the National at the Littleton this summer, all through the summer. It's a brilliant play by Susie Miller, who wrote Prima Facie. Yeah. It's another play about the legal system, and I play a judge. So I've been having these very interesting days in court, observing judges at work in the Old Bailey and at Southwark Crown Court, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. And how about being on stage? And that, what is it, 8, 10 performances? Well, how many performances do you do?
8 a week.
8 a week?
I think.
She doesn't really know.
I think it's 8 a week. Yes, I'm daunted because I haven't done it for so long. Yeah. And I never used to bat an eyelid really in my 20s. I felt very at home on the stage. In fact, I always felt more at home on stage than I did in a room of strangers or at a party or something. Yeah. I felt a protective veil through being a character on the stage. I feel like sitting here on the sofa with you, I feel much more anxious. But having not done it for 14 years, I do have some fear, of course.
But you play real-life characters as well so brilliantly. When you were talking then about going and watching the judges, you've done Marie Curie and Mary Colvin as well.
Yes, I have played, and that's a responsibility.
Yeah, it must come with a whole other set of kind of responsibility.
Demands.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're wanting to give a truthful representation of someone, particularly with Marie Colvin, who was the journalist for the Sunday Times, and there was a lot of footage of her, so people knew how she moved. With Marie Curie, there are photographs, but it's less clear how she sounded or how she moved. But Marie Colvin, I really had to work on my physicality. I worked with a dancer to change my whole body, and actually I shrunk a centimetre and a half while playing her because I'd carried my shoulders in a different way, and my whole spine had compressed.
That was a really powerful film.
So I'd start doing Pilates afterwards.
To try and stretch out again.
And you also became an ambassador for MAG because of that role too.
Right, exactly, because of that role.
What is MAG?
MAG is the Mines Advisory Group, and it was tricky for me to go into an active war zone. The producers weren't so keen on that, but I could go into somewhere where it has been recently affected by the trauma of war with a team of deminers who were seeking out mines planted either by the army or anti-tank mines or scatter munitions from cluster munitions and safely detonate them. So I would experience what a huge explosion was like and how that would shake the earth, but it would be done in a controlled environment, and obviously it was clearing land and returning it to farmers and civilians who live and work and farm that land.
Hugely important.
So I've carried on. I was so inspired by the work and this idea of local people working to bring their land back from the oppressors that I carried on working with them and have now become their ambassador. So it's important work.
Well, look, thank you for coming in and sharing a little bit about that, but also about Hallow Road, which Kat and I can thoroughly recommend. Yes. If you like sitting nervously for a good hour and a half,
eating popcorn like that,
and sort of
it's a thrill ride.
It is a thrill ride.
Buckle up.
Lovely to see you, Rosamund.
Lovely to see you
It's in the cinemas on the 16th of May.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.